You know? There we go. Yo. Welcome back to the Raw with Lump and Mimi show. Tonight we got a guest special appearance. My sister's out sick, so I just took her a few weeks. Everybody sending special prayers out to her. Hope she's getting better, getting stronger. And then when she come back, we'll be back on live, back with the show. But tonight, I got a close friend of mine. I made him stop doing what he was doing tonight. Come keep with me on the fucking show tonight. So you guys go ahead and give a special welcome to Mr. Garrett Lee. That's the motherfucking one R and two T's right there. One R, two T's. What's
right,
up,
get
Mr.
it right.
Garrett?
Not Gary, Garrett. One R,
Mr.
two T's.
Garrett, that's what I'm talking about.
What's
Welcome
happening,
on. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good. I'm glad to be on. I'm happy to help out and glad to talk about some topics we got going on today. There's been some crazy things going on in the world, my brother.
There's been some very crazy things going on in this world today, Jizzle. Well, we'll first start off with our karate lead. You know, we had a few tournaments being postponed and canceled.
That is true.
But we also had one that said, fuck what y'all was talking about, we're going to take place anyway. And that was Miss Eva Ramirez with her tournament down in Brownsville this weekend.
That's true.
Said, yo, y'all just don't bring this shit through the doors, but we're going to have this tournament anyway.
Well, she kind of got caught at the beginning of it, man, and I would have kept going with it too. You know, that you got money put into your tournament, and that's really hurt the karate world. Is the main thing is that's money that promoters aren't getting, and competitors aren't getting a chance to compete and have fun and go out there and go for their goals. So it's really hit us kind of hard, and not only the competition side of things, but as a school owner, you know, we're shut down. We're not shut down, but you know, everybody's kind of not coming because of everything. Disinfecting the schools, and they shut down the after school programs are all shut down because there's no school going on. So, and if the parents can't go to work tomorrow, what are they going to do? They're going to keep the kids, or some have to go to work and the kids got to stay home. Everybody's kind of in a tough rut. So it's kind of scary. And
Coach G, you'll be open though, right, Coach G?
I will be open because I want to be able to help my community. So if there are parents out there that have to go to work, because there are some that do, the school will be open. We are doing the same rate that we do for the summer program, which is $125 a week. That's $25 a day. And we do that to make sure everybody has a equal opportunity to get help or to use us to do whatever they need to do. So that's why we stay open and we stay clean. So we're all right. You know,
they definitely stay open and they definitely are fucking clean. I can tell you that. Big shout out to them. They definitely keep their school clean for sure. But they are far as hell from Houston. I tell you guys that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, dogs in the background.
Yeah.
But no, it is far. It is far
from
the country. Yeah. We're trying. But man, so, I know that Syntex Open, which is in Austin, that's Chance Turner's tournament. It's a TKO and it's got a few other sanctions, but he postponed his tournament. That was April 4th. I know there was some world championships that got postponed too because of it, right?
Yes, actually.
Or big tournaments.
Chelsea Clark and Mr. Lovelace had their event was coming up Saturday, and they had to cancel it. Yeah. So, you know, it's pretty interesting because we don't have our tryouts to get to Detroit.
Oh.
So how the fuck we gonna fight in Detroit, G? You know, we gotta figure that out.
Yeah,
we gotta figure that out.
There's some postponing. You gotta take the season and move it.
So we're gonna find somebody trying to jump in and go get us a seed so we can.
I think the craziest part is just how fast it happened, right? Like everything just shut down. Sports, you know, people were getting quarantined and over nothing, and it started a huge panic. So it's crazy, and I'm sorry that everybody got jacked up in what happened. You know, it's affected a lot of fucking people.
A lot of us is getting affected by it. Special prayers go out to Mr. Craig Gilmore.
Yes.
He's been tested positive for it, pneumonia. So prayers go out to him, guys. You know, he's part of our karate world, part of our karate family. A very close friend of my karate instructor for sure. So special prayers go out to him and his family. Keep him safe. Keep all them guys in good faith and health and all that good things.
That's true.
So, Coach G, what's good been up with you?
Not much, man.
Yeah.
Not much at all. Just life. We're doing a lot of things and bringing kids to tournaments and checking out the karate scene, and it's getting bigger. It's nice. It is nice, but man, that last tournament we went to, TKO, it just felt like everybody was on edge. It was funny, man. Everybody wanted to fight. Everybody was in everybody's ass. Everybody was in everybody's face. It wasn't like a regular local.
It was not for sure regular local. Coach,
it's weird, man. It's weird. Everybody's up on their toes, want to fight everybody.
Yeah, it's really been some emotional feelings.
That's true.
Involved into the tournaments, and then it's so funny because when somebody used to tell me that, Wayne, why are you so emotional? Yeah, and now I'm watching it and seeing everybody else kind of be like, why are you so emotional right now? So you are right about that, Coach G. I definitely say.
What's bad is, you see it kind of in the fights too. It's not just the fans or the competitors or the parents anymore. It's the fighters you can tell what's going on in the world or what's going on in their world is kind of messing with their skill sets. And we're seeing a lot more, reckless fighting, I think.
Reckless fighting is, of course, that's the best way to put it, Coach G. Now, let me ask you this question, Coach G.
What's going on, man?
With the rules, yeah, you know me, because we have a lot of fucking rules that we're supposed to follow in all these fucking leagues that we have, right? So rules are under one good commission. Coach G, who would you feel comfortable bending the rules for at an event? Would you feel better?
Commission?
Yeah, as a promoter, as an arbitrator.
Should you bend rules?
Should you bend rules?
No, obviously not. But what happens is everybody learned the game and they bend the rules. And promoters bend rules for competitors, and competitors ride the line of cheating and taking advantage of certain things. We all do it, and I'm guilty of it too. But it's a game that we've learned to play, so we all kind of ride that line of are we breaking the rules or are we just bending them a little bit? But should they be bent? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think that's an issue that we see a lot of because there aren't one single commission. It's a bunch of commissions, a bunch of leagues, a bunch of promoters and committees that the rules are so all over the place. They're not there's too many. It's kind of like the spinning kick rule in NBL. Everybody argues about the spin kick rule. Is it 3-point or is it a 2-point? Put your hand down. Is it a 3 if you kick them in the head, or is it a 2 because your hand is down, or a 1? Everybody wants to argue about something, and until we unify a rule set, we're always going to have problems, especially when you have cross competitors and cross promoters with different sanctions.
Disqualification, Coach G, talk to me about it. What do you think? In the sport that you and I grew up in, because you've been in this since you was 2 fucking years old.
That's true.
So you're very close to 30 years in. I'm 30 plus years in. What do you think of what should be a line drawn for disqualification? Where's a line drawn for disqualification in our sport?
That's where it gets tricky, right? Because there's always been this stipulation of swelling, redness, or blood is automatic disqualification. A shot with bad intention that ended in a knockout was disqualification. Unsportsmanlike conduct, obviously. But I mean, how many times have you been fucking we've all gotten a little unsportsmanlike at times and never been disqualified for it unless it was a fight that broke out, right? So when you talk about disqualifications for knockouts, it came along because athletic commissions started shutting karate tournaments down because they weren't paying sanctions for full contact. They talk about the blood and gut days. Everybody was knocking each other out, fighting, no headgear and all that. But it got shut down because the sanctions wanted money. The commissions wanted money. So they came up with a vocabulary to kind of scapegoat around that or, cut corners, which was, we're semi-contact. It's tag. We stop. It's not a combination of hits. It's light face contact for black belts or 18 up most of the time. And then they added the redness, swelling, or blood was automatic disqualification. And when you say semi-contact and you add those rules, the commission can't really charge. They can't. It's amateur. Essentially, it's amateur, even though we fight for money. So, that's how we got around that. Now, do they hold up to that? Absolutely no. How many times have you dropped somebody and they continue to let you go on in a tournament because it was a clean shot?
One fucking time.
One time?
2 times. Two fucking times.
2 times.
2 times that I can think of. That out of 30 years of fighting, I honestly can think of my fight with Houston Thomas. They let me continue on. And my fight with Damon here at Lee's event. They let me continue on. I did not get to continue on when I fought the Davidson brother.
Right.
I did not get to continue on when I fought Robert Cotton. It was a team fight, but my fight got disqualified, and we went in the hole 10 points before that.
Right, because that was the rule back then in teams.
Because that was the rule.
That was the rule. They could let you keep fighting, and that was kind of, if you think about it, that was kind of fucking stupid too, because remember, if you got knocked out, if you got dropped or won by disqualification in Super Grands, you still got to fight the next round most of the time. You're talking about head trauma and damage. We weren't really smart about that. Never having, how many times you fought on carpet or basketball floor?
Ooh.
You know?
That was all 90s then.
Exactly. Thank God. Thank the Lord we got mats now at most tournaments. I'd say 98% of the tournaments we got mats. So that's good.
Of course you know where I'm going with it, Jizzle.
Oh yeah. I do.
Going back to the Philly Open. You know, if you motherfuckers getting y'all feelings for what's happening on this conversation, hey, stay in your feelings. This is my opinion. This is what I thought. Granted, Cam Dawson is a fucking hell of a fighter.
Hell yeah.
I give him that for sure. He will go down as one of the top heavyweights, right along with Avery.
Definitely got the baddest back fist.
Right along with Avery. As one of the heavyweights, like the shit. Like really this shit can rock shit, you know, and really get it in. I think it is a certain level that you have to have to where the respect level should have been just on the fact of, you know, you're supposed to be disqualified.
Yeah.
Hands down. Whether I run into your sidekick to my face or not. Jason, have you ever been sidekicked in the face?
Have I ever been sidekicked in the face? Yeah, and I hate it. It's the worst feeling. It's like getting spinning back fist. It's dirty.
And that's damn sure one of the worst feelings I ever hate too, is getting hit with a fucking spinning back fist. I tell you.
Yeah,
that's and unexpected moves.
It's crazy that we honestly, I think sidekicks to the face should be treated like spinning back fists. I know it happens on accident. I mean, a hook kick is kind of controlled enough that where sometimes it turns into a side kick and axe kick too. But at the same time, man, it's a dangerous kick, especially when you got blitzing. When you got blitzing involved, it's almost more dangerous than an offensive side kick.
You have someone blitzing you that's not up to par. You can tell the way he took off was kind of like, you know, I'm doing this to be, you know, I'm here.
He wasn't bad. That kid was nice.
No, he's a very good up and comer. He got a younger sister who's a tough fighter. Their mom's around. You know, they're from the island. So
I like him. He's nice.
Yeah, I think it was very awkward. I think he was getting a good comeback. I think Cam could have put that kick to his chest, to his stomach, to his rib.
Were they on mats?
They were on mats, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. That's a good question, Jizzle.
Because I remember it was carpet somewhere, and I think it was just in between, but I'm pretty sure they were on
maybe in between or on around the outskirts of them.
Right. I'm pretty sure they were on mats. But I think just from the kid was trying to he was trying to win. He was coming back, and in the midst of that, just leaned a little too much. But he wasn't doing anything wrong. You're supposed to go forward when you're down, you know?
Yeah. You could tell it was seconds left. You could just tell.
Absolutely. And it was a good fight. It was a really good fight on both ends. And it's just scary to see so many sidekicks go to the face like that sometimes. And you could say they're on accident because I think it was a surprise that the blitz came so fast and he threw it up real quick. But at the same time, he threw a lot of sidekicks to the body too.
He caught him with a lot. And he almost made Ed Merrick's kiss the bottom of his heel too, with the same sidekick to the face. Ed Merrick's almost caught one. You know, I'm a very detailed fighter when it comes to watching videos. Yeah. You know, anybody know me? I got fucking VHS tape full, stacked up. I'll watch videos all day and pick apart on certain things or certain situations and fights. So, Coach G, do you think he should have been disqualified?
Yes, I do. I think that under the rules that are stated in most martial arts leagues, that would contest a disqualification. Should he kept on fighting? No, he should have been disqualified, even if it was an accident, man. You remember when Dwight got disqualified for a body shot?
Yeah,
for an excessive
I
body
remember
shot.
that excessive body shot. And I felt like that guy should just went home and just did some more sit ups and shit and came back and tried
Yeah,
again.
I mean,
But in the rule book, it stated
and
semi
they
contact.
that you can't. Yeah, semi-contact. And when somebody gets rocked in the face, knocked out like that, in 99% of all leagues, it's a disqualification. Does that always happen? Hell no. It happens. Man, come on.
So Coach G, who the fuck gets away with it? Who are the ones that gets away with it? Who do you open that door to say it's okay for you to do it, but it's not okay for him to do it?
I think it comes from popularity. I think it comes from a name that you've worked hard to create, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And it also comes from the discretion of the promoter and the judge and what happened. So that's what they use to let people keep on fighting. It's happened to me where I've hurt people and kept on fighting because it was a clean technique, which is okay. That's great. But if we want this sport to grow and we want to keep it still safe, I mean, was it, who was it? It was a Spence. It was one of the Spence brothers that got his windpipe jacked up at AKA from a face shield. Right?
Yeah, a few years back.
Yeah, a few years back. So this sport can be dangerous, especially, we're going fast. And yes, it's a speed sport. And yes, we have great control. But accidents happen. And if you don't stay consistent with your rule set, then you're not taken legitimate as a sport.
So should we allow knockouts?
If we can come up with a way to allow knockouts, I'd be okay with it.
Pay me fucking more money, and I'll be okay with it.
But you also have to have better safety equipment. You have to have better mats. You have to have more time and money put in by the promoter. And what promoters end up doing is find the short way out so they can make more money. And that's why the super fight division came around, but they couldn't knock out in the super fight division, right?
No.
I mean, no, but you could hit hard.
Oh,
you can
hit 2 or 3 times after the break.
And that was the way they didn't have to pay the athletic commission, because if you say full contact, it's a kickboxing match.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
So I feel like knockout, it has to be full contact. For you to knock me out, it has to be a full contact of a hit, hitting me.
The question is,
full contact.
Could we have TKOs? Technical knockouts.
That's a good question. And then it goes to go about the judges calling what it is. It's kind of, you have to be very fucking careful on how you play with that one, because it's a good idea. But let's say this kid was not intentionally going into the kick, but ended up catching the kick. He tried to angle it and walked into the kick. Angle off and got caught with the kick.
Or it was a setup. It was a setup combination that ended in a kick or a good punch, where the kid didn't drop immediately like a sack of potatoes. It was a wobble, boom, and they just said, man, you can't carry on. And it wasn't done with bad intention, with malicious intent, then maybe. Or if, I guess you have that in the spreads, you can consider a spread a TKO, because you're stopping the match.
Yes.
But not all leagues have spreads. And I think now spreads are used not as it's fun, it's cool to watch, it's great to see, but they're used to shorten the time of the tournament, not allow the fights. And I think as a competitor, to pay that much money to go to a tournament and only get to fight 30 seconds or that sucks. Even if you're getting your ass kicked. If you're getting your ass kicked, let me get my ass kicked for 2 minutes. I paid all this. Let me get my ass kicked for 2 minutes. Like, come on, man. Don't spread me. I paid a lot of money. And you're not, how do you get experience from 30 seconds? Now, what people are going to say.
Fucking guards up.
Yeah. What people are going to say is like, I take your ass to the gym and get better and train. Yeah, I get that. And I wholeheartedly believe you and agree with you. But it's not like these are free tournaments. And you got to give the fighter a chance to fight. And you beat a guy in 30 seconds, and he might have had a minute and a half to come back.
45. I give him 45.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 45. Yeah. That's cool.
I gave old buddy 45 because he was talking too much shit. I was only gonna give him 20.
Shut up. No, I've seen you beat people in 9 seconds. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Talking about I give people 45 seconds. Whatever.
That last fight I gave him 45.
The last one.
That last guy. Well, no, not my buddy Sean. Sean gave me a good run. when he took off on me, I had to kick him in his head though with the low high roundhouse kick. Shout out to my man Dwayne O'Neal with that low high. Woo, woo, ooh, put that shit out there. So, Coach G, is which now you are not only a school owner, competitor, but you also a promoter.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully
if we can shoot this, what's the name out here? But that's another topic. So, Coach G, for your event, Open. Let's say at the Aloha Open that this situation happened at your event, and the center judge being whoever, Daryl Stewart. Shout out to Daryl Stewart, because he'll make up his own fucking rules in the middle of the ring on you guys. Let's say he says you're disqualified and Cam arbitrates it.
How do you arbitrate it? You knock the guy out.
He ran into the kick.
You still knocked him out. You can't do that. It's an accident. It happens.
I'm fucking Cam Dawson.
Yeah. Sorry. It's got to be consistent. Got to be consistent. You can't play with the vocabulary, or you take away from the integrity of the sport.
Huh. Well, that's what I'm getting at.
And we're the only sport that has national championships with dudes that don't have black belts as judges. Some guys have probably only fought locally or only fought at the karate school.
Got parents that only work the scorekeeper and timekeeper board in this motherfucker. Right. They can sit there and judge now.
Right. And I'll tell you what, man. If you want to run tournaments faster, go back to pen and paper. Go back to pen and paper. Because the Wi-Fi shuts off at every tournament. And no matter how well the program runs, and I give it to you, Ventex, they've done what they can, and it usually runs really great. I'm being an asshole, but man, that all these new ones that are popping up, like y'all aren't Mac. Y'all aren't Mac. Y'all aren't Windows, man. You're not gonna do it. I appreciate the help, but get your Wi-Fi up. Like it's not working for you.
Now, well, they use them wherever they're building.
So bad.
Their event is being held at. They use that Wi-Fi. They don't come in with their own.
So bad, man.
So
you gotta be consistent. That's the whole problem, I believe, with sport martial arts today is the consistency of the rules not being there. Everybody has their own take on the rules, and everybody can be an arbitrator. Everybody can say that their way is right, and they can change it per tournament for what they want to do. It's kind of like back in the day when you get those promoters that would say, oh, I can't give you the money for grands because I didn't get 10 competitors.
Do you remember Andrew?
Who?
Him and his dad compete, Barry. They're from Atlanta.
They wear the ATL uniforms?
Yes, sir. Do you remember at Grand Slam when Cam hit that boy with that spinning hook kick?
Yes.
And broke his nose.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
And Cam felt like he wasn't going to get disqualified. And I stood up and say, no, you're fucking done. You might as well take your shit off. You're fucking done. You can't make nobody bleed. That shit was ragged. And it was clean as hell. I mean, it was
clean. It was clean. But in that case, a wobble, I mean, I don't think they should fight anymore. Yeah. You bled, you're done. Like, that should honestly, if that's in the rule book, and if we look at the rule book, if it says bleeding,
but he
blood
can't
is blood.
Forward, just like how the Davidson brother
problem did. Yeah. And see here, I don't mean to cut you off, but
not to cut me off. Go ahead.
The problem is that it's a fine line because you get cut with elbows, and if you're bleeding and they can't tell where the shot comes from, should you get disqualified?
I think Travis told me at Jim Haymore tournament it was 2 elbow cuts. If I'm not mistaken, that were not intentional, of course. And the elbow cuts come from us blitzing each other or somebody just freaks out. Yeah, comes from that. That's different compared to somebody actually trying to throw a UFC off and drop your ass on the chin with this John Jones elbow. Bing.
That's a little just 2 inches to the left from Ireland running into a Canadian elbow.
Mine is a few inches one way too, but I didn't run into nothing. I got swung on. Shout out to Big Zach. Yeah, so
yes, deserved.
Yeah, and you know what? I probably did deserve that one, and I could probably say that because I walked in there hot-headed, pumped up, over pumped up. You know, me and Trav had a little ritual that we used to do, you know, to even motivate me up even more. So it was like, oh yeah, let's go. And it was home. You know, it's nothing like fighting at home, boy. You know, fighting at home, and it was like, you know, my senior year in high school, everything. Got that broke.
Oh yeah, it didn't feel like you're on top of the world for 2 minutes.
Not even. That fight was like 15 seconds. Done out. And all I can do is remember that, looking back at Trav's face, and he had this. If you guys can remember, if y'all can actually picture this, y'all have to really picture this. When Red took off his glasses in front of Smokey and Craig on Friday, and they said, "Damn!" That's how Trav had that look on his
all
face.
The way
and I
back.
was like, "Man, what did he?" I was like, "What?" And I'm looking at him like, "What?" And then they show fucking like, I just heard people just like, "Oh my god, his fucking nose!" It was just like crazy. You know,
Trev got a killer back stance, you know what I'm saying? Trev got a killer back stance. He leaned all the way back.
I'm talking about
the screen.
He was my
He
coach.
on the screen with the back.
He was my fucking coach. That was my coach right there. And I turned around and was like, oh. And I had that, you know, that water in my eyes. So I hit myself too at the same time. Like, he threw a hell of a hook punch at me. And the impact of me hitting myself and him hitting, I was like, whoa. And when I tell you, that's the only thing I really picture that as, is Trav had that look like them on there. Damn! And I was like, what? What's wrong? And when I looked back over to somebody, and they was like, oh shit, and you can just hear it, like, all in the videos, everybody was like, fuck, his nose, oh my god, his fucking nose. Yeah, man, it was crazy. And it was just like, damn, don't disqualify that boy for that shit, you know, like.
Yeah. And as a fighter, you feel bad. You don't want to win by disqualification.
Hey, no, let me tell you what.
You know what I mean?
It's scary to knock somebody out in our sport, not thinking that you're going to knock them
out.
I watched Robert Cotton shake. When I hit him with that switch kick, I watched him shake. That had to be some of the scariest shit I ever seen, was to kick a fighter and watch him shake on the ground. Like, I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know what to help him. I could just stood there and was like, Lord, please save this young man. Like, I didn't mean it. Like, I promise. You know, man. And I knew that he came at me at a half speed, I respect you because who you are. I'm not fighting you like I can really fight. And I caught it, and I caught him underneath the chin, with a jump kick. I was in the air, like, you know, through a jump kick.
Yeah.
And just to watch when he fell and to just see him just shake like that, I'm telling you. So I knew, like, the sport I was in and the passion I had for it was like, my thing is, the more they try to embarrass you or hit you with something that, like, movie type shit, compared to where we're in the cage, I'm about to let your ass feel every inch of what I went through, you know, during the time. I just really think that, you know, some people are for the knockouts. Some people feel that our sport are doing it, you know. I'll ask them, are they competing? If they're competing and they say it, cool. Go with it. But if you're not competing and your shit hung up, you ain't got too much to say about it, because you're not gonna know what it feel like. Because once again, I'd rather be paid for my brain than to be paying for my brain. You understand what I'm saying? So,
absolutely. And on a real like crazy note, in those instances when you watch how you can hurt somebody when you don't have full control of your technique, you realize what a superpower martial arts can be.
Yeah.
And how you have to have technique when you fight. And like, the biggest thing that I've ever seen the difference between a jiu-jitsu tournament and a karate tournament is when you're at a karate tournament, everybody's on their toes because we're all thinking about how we got to punch and kick each other. We're all thinking about how we're going to kick each other's ass, right? But at a jiu-jitsu tournament, everybody's hella calm. Everybody's cool and collective because they're not worried about it. There's a way to get out before you get hurt, and everybody's way more chill. And I always wondered why that was, and I think it's because we punch and kick each other, and there's just so much more anxiety that comes to that. And man, and when you hurt somebody, like, it really does pull your heart on your heartstrings a little bit, and you feel bad. You really do.
Of course,
like,
yeah. You know, and then and to watch a young man go down like that, like, you know, he's, you know, just freshman year.
Yeah,
you know?
man. And what's that gonna? Hopefully, he comes back stronger, and a lot of fighters do. You know, hopefully,
a lot of fighters don't.
That's true.
And a lot of fucking fighters don't.
That's true.
So, you know,
because what's the point? What's the point of paying money to get hurt?
Yeah. Why? Like, that's exactly. So
passion can only take me so far. Without some type of intent at the end. And the way you make money in the sport is not by winning tournaments. It's by owning a school and using winning at tournaments to pull seminars and pull private lessons, and winning at the tournaments and building your name is the bonus.
Yeah, that's
That's the end goal, compared to like a kid that plays basketball his whole life and has a chance to be in the NBA and actually make money for himself or herself. And there's not enough of that in our sport. And because you go through a cycle, you become competitor. Then if you stay in it, it's competitor, promoter, and then that's what you do. And school owner.
Yeah, school owner. School owner, then tournament
then
promoter.
Yeah, usually it's school owner, then promoter, not the other way around. But there's not an end goal for a young person, and that's a hard sell for someone that sport martial arts, right? Like I tell our people that we do sport karate. That's what we do, and that's a hard sell. Well, what can I get out of it? Well, yeah, you can get discipline and hard work and understand and its technique and to be really good martial artists. But at the same time, the most they can do is put it on the resume that they're a black belt or a world champion. And so most of the time that's the equivalent of an Eagle Scout, which is pretty nice. That's cool. And that's what I usually ask parents to do if they ask me, can my kids put this on my college resume? Can they put it? Yeah, they're black belts. They worked hard. It shows them. It'd be about the equivalent of an Eagle Scout. And that's really the best thing you get out of it. And that's kind of the hard part about it. We want it to be better. We want a better end game at it than
of
just
course,
school.
Because Coach G, you're not working on the plan, so hopefully it'll be a shock to where other states may try it. Like I said, Travis definitely didn't step out of the.
Yeah, and the more things we have like that, the better, man.
Exactly.
These tournaments are getting stale.
It's just fucked up that we got this fucking virus running around. Jizzle, can you break this virus down a little bit more for me? Can you help me understand a little bit, just a little bit of what you know, your knowledge of this shit?
I don't know much, but it comes from Wuhan, China, right? And they say it came from, there's a bunch of different, it came from something they ate, right? It was either a bat or a bat that bit something else. They got sold on the world market, and that's how it got out and about. Now, the crazy thing is, it's not, it hasn't killed as many people as the flu has. So we're freaking out, and it's causing a panic, and everybody's suffering from it. And you can really see it in the karate world, and I guarantee it's happening in the jiu-jitsu world, the boxing world. It's happening everywhere because these big full contact events can't have anybody to come to their events either. I mean, the UFC just did one in Brazil and nobody was in the audience. Literally, they fought to an empty crowd. Yeah.
So they let them fight.
They let them fight, but they fought to an empty crowd.
So they tested them with what? What tests are they running? How do you know that this motherfucker is not sick over here?
There's no tests right now. Like where I'm at in Chambers County, they've said there's no confirmed cases because nobody that goes in can get a test. We're not equipped to have tests on the virus. So there might be confirmed cases, but you can't find out because guess what? They're not going to test you.
So you tell me these motherfuckers make those stories talking about, there's been one person tested and they've been found with the coronavirus. So they're making this shit up now.
I don't know. I guarantee you there's a lot of people that have allergies that are saying they have the coronavirus, but it's pollen, guys. It's pollen. Stop worrying about coughs. Yeah, it is strong. I just got a black car out there that's yellow right now. So it's strong. If you're at tournaments, you're at workouts, people coughing, you'll be all right. It's all right. Get some hand sanitizer.
They better cough not around me. My teacher said they better not do that shit. My professor, Reed, says that is nasty, and if you feeling like that, you need to stay home. Don't come outside. Don't put that shit in our ear.
Well, I mean, when we pulled up to AKA in Chicago, the second we got off the plane, there was the first confirmed account in Chicago for coronavirus.
Right as soon as we got there, huh?
As soon as we got to Chicago, like literally. So, it's a scary thing right now because I don't think the virus is the scariest thing. It's the panic. It's what people are doing right now that's scary. We're not helping each other out. We're not putting our neighbor first. We're putting ourselves first. And I think that's because everybody was ill prepared.
Now, Coach G,
yes, sir.
Let me ask you this. Because, I don't know. You know, you're from a different aspect of the world, different time frame.
Hmm.
Hand sanitizer. What is the fucking reason for hand sanitizer? Please explain to me.
To kill the germs on your hand or whatever you put it on.
Is it for a permanent make it negative next time you touch your balls, or is it a temporarily till you get to some soap and water and you're gonna really wash your hands?
It's pretty sure it's just a temporary thing until you go wash your fucking hands.
Why
Just
the
throwing
fuck
that
is these
out
people
there.
in the stores buying out all this damn hand sanitizer and leaving that hand soap on the shelves? You're gonna leave all that hand soap.
Because they're not thinking, man. They're thinking about what they need. And what happened, I guarantee you what happened was somebody was like, man, ain't nobody grabbing the toilet paper yet. I'm gonna go get that. And then they saw one guy grab like 10 and the other guy was like, damn, he grabbed 10. I'm gonna go grab 12. And so it just became like, I'm gonna beat the next guy's number. And look what it did. Ammo's gone. Like,
Yeah.
there's no more tuna fish. Like, there's no
The
tuna
shelves are fucking clean. There's no
Yeah, no
bread.
tuna.
There's no
Like,
eggs. There's no milk.
I'm from Texas, man. This is hurricane season like 2 months too early. Like, calm down. That's it.
They have wiped these fucking stores clean, and these people talking about we on back order for hand sanitizer. Man, if you just now starting to get that shit, then that let me know that y'all haven't been washing your hands.
Oh,
So
yeah.
from now on, give me knuckles or give me elbows. Don't open your hand up to
We
shake mine. If you one of the ones that went and bought some of this hand sanitizer, don't shake my hand. Give me knuckles from now on.
I'm from the last generation that drank from hoses and ate dirt. I got a strong ass immune system.
You hear me?
Good.
Like, I'm outside the house with my head upside down in front of the house like that, having that warm water come out first. It did get cold.
Man,
I'm gonna say don't bring your ass in the house.
it's kind of ridiculous, but this happens every so often. We always go through it some way, some form, or some fashion. Everything will go back to normal. If they do go a little any crazier and we get, into martial law and we're shut down for 2 weeks, it's really going to hurt everybody because.
Hold on, Jizzle, wait. Mr.
I don't
Garrett,
know about that.
The martial law.
I don't know.
Hold on, wait. You speaking big terms on this motherfucker right now. Wait a minute. I keep telling them this is wrong. Wait a minute. The martial law. Coach G, can you explain a little bit about what the fuck the martial law is? Because we're not talking about martial arts law. We're talking about martial law.
No,
so some people may go over their head like, what the fuck are they talking about? So can you explain a little bit so they can understand how the martial law works?
A little bit. I don't know much, but
you know a little something though. Come on, motherfucker, break it out for him.
So the theory is, I'm gonna say theory because who knows, but the theory is that if we do go into martial law, it'll be for 2 weeks, and it's never happened like that before in America, and that's pretty crazy, and then when martial law is inflicted, pretty much means that most of your constitutional rights are null and void at the moment. The military has mostly the control. They quarantine, there's a certain time that you have to go to home and be at home, and you cannot go outside. And if you do go outside after that time, you could be shot. So it happens. It's not the first time it's happened, but it's never happened on a national level.
They made a movie with a piece of it like that happening. The Simpsons. Being in the fucking bubble. Yeah. You can't get out the fucking bubble, At certain time, you could have your ass in the house, or you're going to be in trouble.
But it happens sometimes, like when we have national disasters. They do it sometimes. It's just never been at this level. And I think that's why everybody's freaking out, because it's never been, like, it's happened in Texas when there's a bad hurricane, or Louisiana, or if there's bad storms up north, they do it sometimes. But it's never happened where everybody in the country will be affected by it. And I think that's why we're getting this huge mass hysteria that's falling in. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a politician. I don't know anything other than some karate and some other stuff. That's about it. But from what you look at and you see, the world is freaking out because everybody's freaking out. It's not just one small country or one group of people. Everybody's being affected by it, and that's the scary part about it. So, what I suggest everybody does is take this time that we have where before, if anything happens, get some water if you can, or find a way to, a lot of people have already bought the water, but you can get machines to purify water. You could get, ozone machines. You can get, life straws, something that's going to make sure that you feel comfortable. You don't have to be paranoid, but you could be prepared and you could have fun doing it. And, a lot of people forget about that, man. They get freaked out, and you'd feel a lot better and you wouldn't freak out about things like this if it took a little time just to prepare a little bit more.
Prepare and plan.
Just like you would for a tournament, right? Like you prepare for it. You don't get paranoid
Some
about
of them don't do that. Some people don't prepare and plan for the tournament. They just show up and pay. Fucking show up and pay.
Show up and put mats down.
Yes. Oh yeah, about that too. And tournament promoters, please make sure y'all start washing these mats after y'all use them.
Real.
Don't just throw these fuckers inside the U-Haul and tow them back off.
That was a good point.
Wash those mats, because the next time somebody uses them, man, I'm telling you, it's so much shit out here now that we didn't know about when we were coming up there. Like, it was
not only that, but karate judges do not take their shoes off and be walking outside and be walking all in the bathrooms and be doing all that stuff. And you can't do that in a jiu-jitsu tournament. I'm just saying, y'all want to call jiu-jitsu guys gay and stuff, but at least they clean. They might be rubbing on each other and shit, but they're clean, and we're not, because y'all are dirty, and you be walking in the bathrooms and pissing on your shoes and getting on the mat.
And then walk through the grass and get back to their ring and shit.
Right. Step on somebody's chihuahua shit on the way in. Always next to a damn dog park. Get some better venues, man.
Oh yeah, but like you say, they're trying to hold the money. They're trying to keep some money in their pocket. It is, but just we're gonna learn in the next 5 years how I really feel, to be that promoter.
People don't understand. I've walked into tournaments in rodeo squares where there are no walls, and the mats are the carpets that you put in kid playgrounds that have the swings on. Like, what is wrong with our sport? I don't understand why people can't just take a little bit more time.
Nobody wouldn't even want to. And the bad thing is, nobody wouldn't even want to donate no mats to that promotion.
No, hell no. No, I need 500. I give it to you for that's a friend price. Now, fuck your safety. Give me 500.
Yeah, and your kids' safety too.
Right. Hey, let's put them on a stage and not put mats around the stage. Not have barriers where if they fall, like, come on now. Stages are a whole nother thing.
Oh yeah, definitely for me. Cause I'd have been sky high off those fuckers.
What?
Very, very off of them. At first, stuck in between some rails. Stuck in between the stage and the ground.
Fall between the table and the wall.
Yeah. Go through the curtain and there's nothing behind it.
Yeah. Try to put your hand on the wall and fall out.
Yeah.
Fly off.
So that's just a whole nother thing. I think that shit need to go to a certain feet high, leveled off,
or have raised bleachers and put it in the center and where everybody looks down at it.
But they're not gonna want to pay for nothing like that.
That's true. I mean, Grand Slam had the best setup in the nighttime finals.
It was flatline.
That's what I'm saying. And everybody was in raised bleachers.
Yeah, it was raised bleachers, and he had the lights around it and everything.
But what they do is we've got this whole thing where we do tournaments at hotels, and hotels have stages for events. And so when you have a tournament right, and if you have a tournament in a venue that is not set up for a combat sport tournament, you got to deal with whatever they give you. And like, it's crazy. Think about the Kumite stage. Like,
but I honestly think they don't have to let the stage all the way up. I think those things should be up and down, lifted. So.
Yeah, they're too high off the ground. That's the problem. They're small. They're too high off the ground.
Well, Coach G, when do you think we're gonna be able to get back into some goddamn tournaments, man? Yeah, missing out there.
Oh man, was it April? It's almost April, so it's March. So March, April, May, June, July. I say that tournaments are going to start kicking back off probably by July. I think we're going to, if it does there's all this paranoia out there.
That is a fucking hit against our WKC, our WKU, nationals.
Well, you're talking about world
and worlds. No, both. Because if we can't compete to July, that takes away us going to nationals.
But we're talking about a world pandemic. We're talking about everybody in the world is affected, and those are tournaments that parts of the world go to, and we leave the United States to go to. That's like the low end is like June, July. This will all be fixed, right? Hopefully, but hopefully it's done in by at the end of April. What I really hope it is done by the end of April. But you're talking about the entire world is infected, or not infected, but affected by this, and we have world competitions coming up. I mean, I don't know how really, but if the Olympics gets canceled, that means karate gets canceled. That means karate doesn't even get a chance to be in the Olympics, bro. Like, we gotta wait 2 more years. Like, bye-bye. Sorry.
Wow.
Good working hard, but hey, 2 more years. That's like about to, you just this close to get the cookie. And then your mom come by and tell you go to your room. You gotta wait. Wait till after dinner.
Wait till after you fucking. Actually, no, you're not even gonna get it after dinner.
No, not even after dinner. You gotta wait till second supper.
Yeah, you're gonna wait 2 years, and I'm gonna make some more beans, and you're gonna sit here as there and eat those. Get up and walk off if you wanna.
It's affecting everybody, man, and I hope everybody is dealing with it with some grace, and everybody's done. Most of the people in the martial arts world are smart, respectable people, and they'll handle it with the best possible way they can, and everybody's going to come out good and safe after this. But it is a weird time in the world because this has never happened before in history on this scale. In our time period, right? Yeah. In our generation. So, we're a part of history right now, which is pretty crazy.
It is. This is definite. I just ask you guys to be safe. Be very careful. Be wise.
Just stay clean, man. Don't go to the karate school smelling dirty. Don't be playing outside with no shoes on and coming up in the school. Take a shower before you get to the karate school. Take a shower after.
Don't walk your fucking dog out there in the grass and you accidentally get to talking to your neighbor and you step in some shit and then want to walk into the karate school and step on the mats and excuse me.
Let's be real. We're not even
come to the tournament that Saturday morning with that shit, them same shitty shoes on.
Hey, let's be real. I don't even care. Like, Corona's a thing right now, but you should be doing that anyways to stop staff from coming into your karate school.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I need my promoters to get to clean these mats a little bit because a lot of kids are walking out of these tournaments sick, like fucking sick, man. Like, really, it's not cool. Like, just to be hearing parents talk and just be like, certain things, just please, just clean your mats, if you have a great event, that's not one thing that you want to hear people say about your event is that you fucking dirty. Like, yeah,
you don't want to have that is definitely not what you want coming back.
I'm sure you can get somebody who was bad in school that week and want to compete so bad to clean those fucking mats when you lay them down at that tournament, and I guarantee they'll be sparkly shining.
Well, what's crazy is hopefully most promoters put the mats down the day before, mop them, and then get ready for the tournament the next morning.
No, they lay those fuckers and burn up.
Exactly. How many times have we set up mats and never had to mop after? I've never mopped the tournament.
Me neither.
Ever.
That's why I say I'd rather for my fucking mouthpiece to hit the gym floor, the basketball gym floor.
The janitor's cleaning the he got mopped that morning.
It got mopped that morning. I know everything off this fucker until the fucker started running up and down this motherfucker.
Sitting in somebody's busted ass trailer in their backyard for 3 weeks. Oh, it's so bad.
3 fucking weeks. Yeah, that fucking sucks.
It does suck. And it's crazy because we have the competitors right now are probably the best they've ever been. And I'm going to get a lot of heat for that.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? We get a lot of heat for that. But the problem is, like, we're the best competitors, right? Not we, but, like, this generation is the best there's ever been at this sport. But there needs to be more tribute paid to the guys that did it before us. And we're starting to see more of that. And that's going to change how our sport continues on, is how we grow in the new era, but still respect the old. And the old has to understand that we have to change some things because that's where most of it comes into. These guys they're old dudes that have been doing this a long time. And they got an ego and they're not willing to change. We see it all the time, man. And the young guys rebel. So then you have things.
Of course. Fuck yeah. We don't know no other better. We don't know other way. We only know, what our environment shows us. So, Coach G, one more thing, because this is fucking funny to me, because I saw my boy Wiggy post something about it the other day, and I actually asked some of my VISD parents and also some of my VISD administrators. They're thinking about doing online schooling for these kids.
Okay.
In your particular area, because I know where your area is, we don't have to go into depth. Like Oak Island. How would those kids be able to do online schooling, Coach G?
Well, in Oak Island, the reception is horrible, and you either have a lot of money or you have no money, and the only way kids, not all of them, but most of the kids in that area get Wi-Fi is church on Wednesday nights because the church has Wi-Fi. So, it's hard for them to do online schooling every day of the week they're gone if they can't have online access. And that's a hard thing to do. But that being said, Scholastic is running a free online daily curriculum for any kid that is stuck at home or stuck wherever they are, if their parents or their guardians or whoever's got them want them to do it. I think that's really awesome, and I think a lot of kids now have the opportunity to get like hotspots on their phone, and even the kids that don't have the means to have it themselves, one of their parents usually has one. But then you get into what's going on in their lives, how much time can they have on it, things like that. So that you're opening up a whole nother
whole nother whim.
Yeah, worms.
That bring in some bad worms. That brings in some bad worms you want to fish with. I think it was a great idea, but I just felt like, what do you do to the areas that's low poverty? What do you do for the kids that don't have that type of access?
Well, because the answer to that is, they can come to the library, but then you start playing with that's too many people in one area.
How?
You know what I mean?
Closed.
Like,
you're
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or you're gathering a group of people, and then you're just spreading this fear, or you're spreading the virus. Either one.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just so funny. I seen Wiggy post that. That was one of the questions I asked him, and they said, that was going to come up in some of the meetings. On what about areas that don't have the connections to that? Like you say, Oak Island, you're either gonna be up or down. There's not gonna be an in between. So I think people take heed to that. Teachers, I'm sure your kids got email addresses, parents got email addresses, and whatever you guys are working on, continue to stay working on it so you stay caught up. So whenever school do open back up, your child is ready.
That's true. What's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of kids get out of rhythm.
And that's I feel like it's ready to happen. That's
the school year ends in 2 months. And this is what's going to happen is I was in school when Katrina hit Houston, and we actually had a few days off, and then they made our school year longer, and then I can't remember what hurricane was next, but Katrina was crazy because it didn't hit us actually. We all freaked out, and everybody canceled school, and they put the windows stuff up, and everybody was freaking out. There's evacuations, and it sprinkled. The next hurricane that hit everybody really hard, and I remember we were out of school for about a week, but then we had to stay in school an extra week and a half.
Yeah,
so
emergency
your summer got cut.
Up.
Yeah,
yes.
And your summer gets cut. So that's what's going to end up happening. Now, some people are saying this might, and it's not some. I'm going to be honest, it's a stupid Facebook post, but how real could it be, right? They're saying up to 8 weeks. This could be going on for up to 8 weeks. You could miss school for up to 8 weeks. They're thinking about it.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, right now, some of the Detroit public schools are not going back until the second week of April.
Ooh.
And then I know right now we're not going back to school. I'm meaning for the college, Houston Community College. We're not going back to school until maybe the first week of April.
So you got 2 weeks?
Yeah, an extra 2 weeks on top of.
As far as I know, the schools out here are only one. But like I said, we live in the country, and kids go running in the mud and jumping in lakes with gators. So everybody's got a strong ass immune system.
Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. So, Coach G, on to the next part of the session. And
yes,
since my sister Mimi is not here with me, I'm going to give you the coaching tip of the week, whether you want to give it to the coach, the student, the parent. Just a
I appreciate the honor. I got to come up with a good one. Hold on though. I got a few. I think I got a few. Maybe, hopefully everybody likes it. Coaching tip of the week. Let your fighter breathe. This is for the coaches, right? Let your fighter breathe. If you are on top of your fighter the entire time, like you're controlling a joystick, you're not allowing them to learn. You need to get with your student or your athlete and really, really have a relationship with them to the point where you understand that they're comfortable enough to handle and make decisions on their own. You as a coach, give them the blueprint, but they got to build the house. You give them the access to the tools. You teach them how to use the tools, but then you allow them to build their own house with your blueprint, and they can modify the blueprint if necessary as they learn and grow. But as a coach, sometimes I know I do it because I still compete, I still fight, so I get in there, I see it, and I'm yelling at them, screaming. But what I learned from that last weekend was everybody was going so crazy, so I decided to calm down a little bit. And when I let my fighters breathe, when I let them figure it out on their own and gave them hints to it, when I gave them hints to them, like, man, you can get this, it's right there, you can believe in yourself, and less technique and more personal with them, give them a little bit more encouragement. It was a big difference. At least I personally saw. So I think the coaching tip of the week is let them breathe. And I always remember being coached by Jason Holmes, J-Dog, if everybody knows who J-Dog is. So, and what he used to do was you come to the line at a coach's break and he'd be like, well, you can hit him with this, or you can hit him with this.
So
you might be able to hit him with this. Yeah, he wouldn't yell at you. He wouldn't yell. He'd just be like, you can do this. So you decide. You go ahead and do that. You figure it out. And I always remember that was really like, okay, cool. It was in my hands, right? When I lose, it's my fault. It's not the judges. It's not my coach. It's my fault. And if you don't let your fighter breathe, the fighter feels like they're taking on the fight with you, and it's a lot more pressure. So there's my coaching tip of the week. Let your fighters breathe. Let them figure it out. Let them lose a little bit. Let them come back stronger, better, more mature, better fight IQ. But don't feel so on top of them all the time. Like it's your fault if they mess up.
Y'all heard that from Coach G. Let your fighter breathe. I like that. Coach G, we're going to fuck around and make a video for you on that right there. You just speaking and let your coach for fighter breathe. Because I know you took after, me, Mr. G, and I know for sure.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
The only breath my fighter going to get is a little bit that they get in between him and I, or between her and I. I'm on the ass. But you know what? That is a good tip. Like you say, kind of like, let them try. Let them see. I definitely been trying to do that with Nathan for sure.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you
Nathan,
good. Absolutely. I definitely been trying to doing it.
Yeah, there's times where you need that umph, right? And I think Jody said it best in an interview. He said that you gotta, not an interview, it was one of his videos. You gotta you gotta not worry about how they say it, but what they said, right? And I always kind of remember that from the time we were fighting at a tournament. I was down, and you stopped the fight with no timeout and smacked the shit out of me in the head, in the face. And I'll never forget, Lee Ordonez walked on me and goes, why'd you let Willie do that? I said, I won, didn't I? Like, it woke me up. I went from being down 4-0 to winning it 9-4. So sometimes if you know the fighter, being hard works.
That's it.
But until you know the fighter, try different methods. Be on them, let them breathe. Show them something and let them figure it out. Let them lose. Let them lose so they can learn to win. And when they win, praise them for a second. Teach them, tell them what they did right, and also develop the chance to teach them constructive criticism and teach them where they made some mistakes and where you can improve. Right? We're always trying to get better. We're always trying to reach perfection, but we never can touch it. That's the goal, right? We never want to touch it, but we try so hard to get it.
And at the same time of you telling them about what they need to be doing, you also ask them, what do you need to be doing as a coach to make them feel more comfortable, to believe in what you got, to believe in what you're saying? I think that's a big, big thing, and I really, really feel like that's why I think I get so close to my students, because like the passion, yeah, it's there, but my instructor took me out of the norm. I had to use my fucking imagination sometimes. I had to get very creative.
And I think it develops depending on what your student base is. So for me, I have a lot of students that come from that need disciplinary things, that they're there because they need help with their attitude, they need help with their discipline, they need help. Either it's from their actual home life, or just the way they are sometimes, and how kids rebel, or anything. It comes from all different walks of life, but we have to develop a way to learn from each other, right? Because I have to be a better coach, and you have to be a better, not just a student. I'm not trying to make you a better student. I'm trying to teach you how to be a better student, so you can be a student of anything in life, not just karate, right? I want you to take what you learn from karate and apply it to everything you do, so you understand that there is nothing that's harder than what you've already been through and what you
Parents, that $125 fucking dollars for the week, y'all better go drop your kid off to that young man right there. You hear what you're gonna give your kid right there? Yo, that's gonna be some good insight of knowledge of what Coach G will give your child. $125 fucking bucks right there, you guys.
Hey, that man, look, God gave me karate, and I got to use it to help as many people as I can. So I try my best.
All right. Well, Coach G, I appreciate you being on. Once again, you guys give some prayers out to Mimi.
Absolutely.
Hopefully she'll be back with us soon. But Coach G, definitely appreciate you coming from the Anahuac of Texas, Third Coast Integrated Martial Arts, baby. For karate out there, the Aloha Open owner right there. Bruce Lee's nephew right there. You motherfuckers don't know. I'm telling y'all, that's the old one. That's right. I'm telling you, that's the old one.
Bruce Lee's nephew.
Here it is. I'll leave you guys with some motivation right here, because I know you guys did your homework. I know, my brother Travis ain't knocked out his fucking 300 for me yet, but it's all right. I'm on him. I'm on my 300. Coach Z, that's gonna be your next insight too. So I got your mind going. But tonight, I caught a very, very good video earlier, and it brought some life to me. YouTube, renewing your mind, your thinking. Inspiring Habit is who subscribed it. It's a 30-minute video. Some of you guys that be in that good traffic in the morning on the way to work. Some of you guys that want to get up and listen to y'all jams while y'all get ready for work. That'll be a good insight. Renew your mind. Renew the way you're thinking. I really, really took some insight to that video. So you guys check that out. Until next time, we'll see you motherfuckers later. Y'all have a good week.
Yes, sir.
Once again, Lump, Mimi, Raw show, but tonight we had a special guest, fucking Coach G. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. I appreciate being on, and hopefully I'll be back, and I got some big things coming up that y'all be ready for. We're going to be dropping some videos, doing some YouTube stuff, and we'll see you soon. I appreciate being on, man. It's been fun.
It was. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.